This is Bruce Bochy, and you're listening to the Ranger Report.
The Ranger Report. Yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go.
This is the Ranger Report podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the World Series champion Texas Rangers, from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter, Tyler Nilson, and CJ Berryman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ranger Report podcast on the Fans First Sports Network. We are your source for the Texas Rangers on the Fans First Sports Network, brought to you by Comfort Air. We're on the Comfort Air online studio. Speaking of Comfort Air, we have Comfort Air's owner with us today. Hey, what's going on, Mac?
Not a whole lot, guys, and you?
Doing great. I'll introduce CJ and Tyler here in just, I almost said Mac's brother. CJ and Tyler here in a minute. He's got Mac's brother as his name, so I almost introduced him as Mac's brother. But anyway, and also, of course, Dallas Sports Nation and Walton's, everything but the meat. Walton's are our sponsor with fantastic seasonings and everything else you need. So be sure to visit waltonsinc.com or waltons.com for all of your seasoning needs. So, of course, CJ and Tyler are also here. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on, Ben?
Word up.
You can find us everywhere on social media. That'll be scrolling somewhere along the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to it, you can just guess where to find us. We're called the Ranger Report, so I'll leave it to your imagination to figure out what our handles are for the official sites. So if you can't figure it out, you can always email me, ben@therangerreport.com, and I'll tell you how to find our social media accounts. But anyway, let's start with some Rangers news. Today, the Rangers won 6-0 over the Washington Nationals, but Nathan Eovaldi left with an injury, CJ. So it looks like they're going to MRI him tomorrow. So I don't know how serious it's going to be. You and I have different thoughts on that. So what do you think is going to happen?
First off, his performance before he went down, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. He was mowing their asses down. And like we were talking off air before we got on here, he was wanting to throw warm-up pitches, and Bochy said, "Nuh-uh." It's and rightfully so. It's so early in the season. It is so early. You don't want right now your top pitcher going down long term because he or you want to push it. So
yeah,
my best guess is the way it sounds. We'll see with the MRI tomorrow. However, I would my best guess is about 2 weeks. About 14 days. Yours is a little bit longer than that, Ben.
Yeah, I hope you're right, because I'm thinking it'll be a 30-day injury. I'm thinking he won't be back till June because they're not going to want to push him. I think it all depends on when he can start throwing again. Like if he can start throwing in a couple of days, then he'll be back in 14 days. But if he can't, I think he won't start throwing for 15 days.
I wouldn't even let him throw for 5 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he starts throwing back if he starts throwing back next week, then I think he'll be all right, but it just depends on how he feels. And it also depends all on what the MRI says tomorrow. If there's damage, then we got problems. If there's not, then he should be okay. But I think it's going to be crazy. He goes out, but you look at the way we'll talk about pitching the National Series. Tyler and I were talking about this. The Rangers outscored the Nationals 13-2, sorry. And they only won 2 of those games. So,
should have been a sweep. Are we going to get into yesterday's game? Let's go ahead and get into yesterday's.
How many times can you leave the bases loaded with nobody out? I had a tweet that I sent to you guys last night that I liked. It was a girl I follow on Twitter. Her name is Avery Fan. She tweeted, I want to find a man that loves me as much as the Rangers love leaving men on base.
That's how it was last night.
And we were all making our home run calls. Well, both times. One of us did.
Yeah.
And then the 2 of I made one and then got a walk. Shut up, Alexa. I've told you to shut up. God almighty. I shut her up literally today.
She just
shut up, Alexa.
She gets lonely, CJ. She gets lonely. Alexa gets lonely.
She hears my voice here all day long working.
Yeah.
Anyways, what were we talking about before?
Making our calls.
Yeah, making our calls. And we were all wrong. And here's the thing that pissed me off. All right, you leave 11 runners on base and you don't score one. Not one run. That pisses me off when you just look at the box score in general. But when you watch the game and you see that they left both 2 different innings against starting pitcher, a chance to chase his ass out of the game. You go out there, bases loaded, no out. 2 different innings, and you're swinging early. You're swinging the bat early instead of making him throw to you and come to you because, dude, the bases are loaded. You're in the batter's box. You have all the command.
Yep. Mac.
And the thing about that, CJ, you make a good point because the pitcher in that situation wasn't even throwing strikes in those innings. And then Langford comes up, like you said, swings at the first pitch?
Yep.
Dribbles it right back to the freaking pitcher. And I'm like, what in the hell are we doing?
I mean, and Mac, you played ball just like the rest of us did in high school. How does it make you feel when you have bases loaded with nobody out and then they get out of the inning without you scoring a run?
It
kind of stinks.
It does. But hey, there's positives that we're getting on base. I mean, the Rangers are getting on base. It's early in the season. They're going to learn. I mean, you're talking about Langford. He's a young guy. I mean, he's young. He's going to learn to hold off and be steady at the plate and make him get you out.
Yep.
That's the thing that was surprising to me, Mac, is that, Langford's been extremely patient all year long too, despite his youth. And in that situation, that's what I expected too. And then, he hits the dinker back to the mound and, kind of unravels the inning, but still they should have been seeing more pitches. He should not have lasted 5 innings.
No, and Seager, you expect to swing at first pitches because he has a history of mashing on the first pitch, when he sees it. But we got to talk about him too, by the way. He's 3 for 41 in his last 44 at bats. So, I mean, what do you think? The spring training excuse can only last for so long. What do you think is going on with Seager?
That's done and over. He's just
he's in a massive funk right now. He's in a massive funk.
I don't know, Tyler. What do you think?
He's the last guy in MLB I'm worried about, to be honest. I'll say that. I'll say that all year. Corey Seager's he's a grown ass man, as I call him. And once Corey Seager gets going, as we know, the next thing we know, we're looking right now, probably box score, and he's hitting 230, 225, and
which is really low for him. Yeah,
which is low. Don't get me wrong. He's not hitting the ball well right now, and I mean he's making good contact. He's putting the barrel on, the barrel of the bat on the ball, as we know. He's hitting it hard. It's just not finding in the gaps or anything right now. But once it starts falling and he starts going, next thing we know, we'll look into the box score and see that average hovering around 275, 280. And, the power's not been there right now. He only has 1 home run. But Corey Seager's the last guy I'm concerned about on that Ranger team.
How awesome would it be if he and Evan Carter, which Evan Carter had a hell of a day today.
Yeah, he did.
But if they both got hot right at the same time, holy shit, y'all.
Well, if you want to know how worried Corey Seager is about it, here's his quote after the game. They asked him if there's anything wrong with him physically, and he said, "No, I just think I'm not getting enough hits." That was his quote.
Sounds like something Corey Seager would say.
I just think I'm not getting enough hits.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, you do that. I mean, baseball's a weird sport, and when it comes to that stuff, it's very streaky. But you have to understand too, every pitcher right now is fresh. It's early in the season. Wait till they start getting tired and start making mistakes. That's when you start getting guys coming alive. And I mean, that's just the nature of baseball.
That's a great point. And let's not overshadow the job that Andrew Heaney did yesterday either.
Yeah, I was going to say also Heaney and also John Gray again. I mean, brilliant pitching. Dane Dunning was brilliant in his last outing. I mean, the thing is, Eovaldi went down today, but it's not like we have only scrubs behind Eovaldi. I mean, if John Gray is pitching at his best, he's completely unhittable. Andrew Heaney's pitching at his best. He is striking everybody out, and he's completely unhittable. I mean,
Dane Dunning was absolutely.
Dane Dunning is striking out like 2 batters an inning right now, just mowing them down. I mean, incredibly, they've got.
10 Ks in 5 innings the other day,
and they're 17 and 15. I mean, people still are acting like they're doing terrible. They're still above 500. They're still 1 game out of first place behind the Seattle Mariners. It's not like they're 8 games behind. They're not the Houston Astros after all, but they're okay. They're okay. I mean, here's the deal. If you just said, hey, the reigning World Series champions are going to finish April with a record of 16 and 15, you would have taken that all day long.
Yep.
Or sorry, it was
going
15
into
or 14, 15 or 14 or
15
something.
and 14. It was 15 and 14.
with the injuries coming in, and then you losing Josh Young,
Cody Bradford.
I mean,
yep. And then you still come out on top. You still come out, with a winning record.
Well, and Ben, me and you touched base before we got on the podcast, for everybody joined. It's kind of been the story of the year for the Rangers right now with injuries. Yep. we get one guy back, another guy falls down, for instance, Eovaldi today. But like I said, we kind of expected it coming into the year. We said if this team can hover right around 500, till we can get these guys back,
I feel like we're
going to be just fine.
Nauseum. I mean, we've had to say it ad nauseum, but I mean, I'm not panicking at all. I mean,
but if you look at Rangers Twitter, you've got a group of new baseball fans, which, by the way, I love new baseball fans. Like, I love that more people are getting into the game
that are also Cowboys fans,
but they're also used to football schedules where if you lose 2 games in a row, it's a huge deal in football. There's only 17 games, but if you lose 2 games in baseball, there's 160 games to go. You're going to be okay. And it's hard sometimes for football fans to remember that, hey, you might have a 10-game losing streak in the NFL. That's equivalent to losing 1 game. That's not a 10-game losing streak is not the end of your season, because you might rip off a 15-game winning streak after that, and then you're 12 games above 500. And what were you worried about in that 10-game losing streak?
Right.
And we say that all the time, but it's true. And like I said, don't get me wrong, we're not like bashing new fans. It's okay. You some people live and die by every pitch, and that's how they do it. I used to. But, I've gotten to the point where I sort of live by month. The Rangers had a good April, so I'm feeling pretty good about the month. It wasn't the best, but with the injuries, I'm perfectly happy with being where they are right now in second place, 1 game behind Seattle.
Well, I am too. Or go ahead, CJ.
No, Tyler, go ahead.
No, what I was just going to say is, we're 2 games over 500 right now. And you look at the MLB, the history of MLB in the past, 90, 95 wins are going to get you in the postseason 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And right now the Rangers are on pace for about 90 wins. So, and you getting these guys back, Scherzer back, DeGrom back, Molly back, having Josh Young come back, Eovaldi, getting him healthy. This team is going to be better than, in my opinion, they're going to have more wins than 90 wins. How do you feel about that, CJ?
My prediction was still around 90 to start the season because of said injuries, because we didn't know what was going to happen during the season. I'm sticking with that, but that's still, that got us a shoe in the playoffs last year, and then you saw what happened. Bam, World Series. So it's guys that there's a whole lot of depth here, and we mentioned him a couple times how surprising this dude has been. Josh Smith right now is one of the best players in all of baseball.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers, he's top 5 in everything offensively and playing a damn good third base. We did not expect that. I expected that out of Ezekiel Duran, who also had a nice double to bring in 2 runs in the second.
Yep.
And so the depth is there.
Yeah.
And then getting Nathaniel Lowe back has been juice. I gotta look up the number 1 on Smith. He's reached base in 25 straight games that he started, and I believe in 18 straight games period. And then
18.
Nate Lowe has reached base
in every game,
every single game since he's come back off the IL.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nate Lowe, let's talk about the wheels on him today.
Yeah, how about that steal?
Did you see his face when he looked into the dugout?
Yeah.
Just like when he got the infield hit the other night.
Yeah, well, that's what they were talking about. They were like, he had to have a bet with somebody in that dugout because he kind of looking like, I told you I was going to get one today. And I was like, there you go. It's probably the only one he'll get all year, but I'll take it.
I'm going to give him 2. I'll say he'll get another one later.
You think he'll get another one? All right, let's talk about real quick before we move on to the next series. Let's talk about the surprising AL West team, the Oakland Athletics, who are now 15 and 17, just 2 games behind the Rangers in the American League West. One of the worst teams in the Major League Baseball last year, if not the worst team in Major League Baseball last year. What in the world has happened to Oakland? Like, why are they good all of a sudden?
That's
Mac,
good draft picks, good early draft picks.
Yeah, that's true. That'll do it.
That, and it's like I said, it's early in the season, man. It may be fool's gold right now. Baseball is such a long season. You cannot base anything upon what's happening in the first 1/8 of the season. You can't.
They're trending in the right direction is all I'm saying. After last year, they've won 4 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10. So, I mean, it's just impressive to me to watch the way they played last year. And just the fact that they're 5 games better than Houston just cracks me up. I don't know. I'm going to keep coming back to that because it's hilarious. But, and again,
we saw what they
and like we keep saying, I'm not counting Houston out. I do not feel like they are done. They have a ton of injuries as well. I don't feel like they're done. I feel like they're still going to be close to the top. Like Max said, they'll even out. Baseball's a long season. I think you're going to see the same teams at the top by the end of the season, Seattle, Texas, and Houston up near the top. And you'll see the Angels and the A's on the bottom. But I don't think it's going to be as far apart as it was last year.
Yeah, between the top 2 and 3, you mean?
I think between the top 4, really, I think it won't be that far. I think
because last year it was. Well, Seattle was in it pretty.
Yeah, but I'm talking about all of them. I think all of them will be within 10 games of each other. I don't think anyone's going to fall 21 games out like the Athletics did last year.
Anaheim might be.
They might. I don't know. I think Wash can get them to play a little bit.
Yeah, he needs more time, and God bless him. So the A's are scary because they've always been scrappy. Always been scrappy. That's just their motto, and they always have pitchers. And right now, dude, I'm standing by this. They have the best closer in the game.
By far.
Yeah. Mason Miller is unbelievable.
If they're winning in the 8th inning, they are not losing that game.
It's over. You're done. He has no wins and no losses. You want to know why? Because he's closing everything out.
He threw the 3 fastest pitchers in baseball this year, 3 fastest pitches back to back to back. And it was to who was it? It was to the Yankees. I can't remember who. It was Judge.
Yeah,
and he struck him out 1, 2, 3, and Judge is like, nope, I don't want any of that.
1.26 ERA in 12 games, 14 and a third innings, 8 saves and 8 opportunities.
Yeah,
guys, 29 strikeouts in 14.1
over 2 an inning.
Yeah, I would trade for him in a heartbeat if the A's put him on the market.
Yeah, Josh Hader, who?
Yeah,
this freaking guy. Holy cow!
What's Josh Hader's ERA? 11 something.
God, man, he just got like an infinity amount of more money than Mason Miller's making this year.
Pretty sure all the Astros ERA pitching is over 11.
I think you're right now.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty. But yeah, pretty. I mean, Paul Blackburn's done well for them as well, starting.
Yeah.
Ross Stripling, believe it or not.
Oakland's been a good story, yeah.
So y'all were talking about the A's. CJ, you remember when we were in high school? I think it was high school, or maybe we had just gone off to college. But you remember when the A's, and I know Ben remembers this, when they went on that 25 game winning streak, 23 or something.
Towards the end of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's when they had like Miguel Tejada. They had who was Chavez.
Yeah, the movie was based off that year.
Or no. Giambi had gone to the Yankees.
But they had Chavez and Tejada.
Yeah,
Tejada. They had. There was a center fielder that was really good. They had a bunch of guys that, I mean, you wouldn't think were great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that team, which the movie Moneyball is made off, which is but I love that. I love the quote in that movie whenever they're talking to Scott Hatteberg moving to first base. He's like, well,
tell him it's not hard, Wash.
Tell him it's not hard, Wash. And Wash goes, it's very hard.
It's very hard. And I can see that Wash really saying that too. Like,
well, did you see he chewed out one of the pitchers? He pulled a Derek Holland. You know how Derek Holland said, and I remember that game exactly.
Oh, I do
Tyler,
too. I do too. Yeah.
Where Wash was just tired of Derek Holland just dicking around the strike zone and not pitching. And Wash went out there, and you could see he was animated and jumping his ass. And so Derek Holland got on with our friends Jeff Wilson and John Moore, and he straight up said all he did was come out there and motherfuck me.
Yep. He did.
Yeah.
He sure did. All right. I wanted to move to the next series. That's one reason I wanted to talk about Oakland. The Rangers have Kansas City and Oakland as their next 2 opponents. So next time we talk on the Major League podcast next Thursday, when the Rangers have an off day, they will have played them. But let's talk a little bit about Kansas City as well, who is probably one of the surprise teams of the year for a lot of people, because they've come out and started the season, with a record of 19-13. And they are, I mean, their number one starter, a certain guy that you guys might know if you pay attention to this podcast, one Cole Reagans, is just tearing it up.
Cole Reagan?
He is tearing it up this year. I mean, really. And as a team, they are too. They're
CJ, you shut your mouth.
So you look at that series, that's not going to be an easy series at all for Texas.
No. And I'm going to let Tyler go ahead and start this because he's
Cole Reagans is his boy.
Cole Reagans is his boy toy.
Well, I talk to Cole Reagans after every game he pitches, and I think it finally clicked for the Royals. I think Cole Reagans brought the winning atmosphere over to the Royals, being a World Series champion. That's what I'm going to stick with. But no, they've been young. I think we talked about it, before the season started. We all agreed that the Royals would be improved, but I didn't think they'd be this drastically improved this quick. Like my brother said, it's a long ass season, guys. Yep. 19-13, a little bit after 30 games. Let's see if they can maintain it. Fortunately for them, they play in the AL Central. The AL Central, you've got the Guardians and you've got the White Sox are absolutely terrible.
White Sox are straight suck. You want to look up suck in the dictionary? Well, them and the Rockies.
Them and the Marlins.
And
the Rockies are worse.
The Rockies have not led in how many games? 29 games? It's a ridiculously stupid streak.
Yeah,
they have not led a game in like 29 games, not innings, games.
That's bad.
Put that in your pipe and smoke.
They have one more win than the White Sox. The White Sox have 6, and the Rockies have 7, and the Marlins have 9.
Too.
Not that bad.
Y'all close.
They have 14 wins.
That just kind of puts out everything in perspective of how spoiled you guys are coming off of World Series wins. At least you're not a fan of those teams.
Yeah.
Y'all are bitching about leaving dudes stranded on base. These guys can't even get on base.
Yeah.
That's a damn good point.
That's correct.
That's a real good point.
That is very, very correct.
Hey, you're not just removed from the Ranger days when that was happening either.
No.
And Macker, though, you got to realize we've gone through it. Me and you've been to baseball games when we were that bad.
Yeah.
So I guess we can make fun of them.
I don't know that we've ever been 6-25, but we've been pretty bad. We've seen the Rangers be
true.
The Rangers always have that tendency, or always did, before we finally got over that hump of sort of being in it until the All-Star break, and then just collapsing after the All-Star break.
That's always when it happened. Remember,
and that's why this last year, when September happened,
everybody that was our.
We were like, here we go again.
Here we go again.
It's going to happen. But then October, they were like, nah, we were just kidding, and they won the World Series.
Well, and you think about it, and like you said, we've gone back on this on podcast before. It's your young development, and the younger guys can hold out longer than your older. If you're going through free agency and bringing all these big names in through free agency, they're a little older. Father time is father time. You just can't do it when you're older. And when you're young,
Charles Barkley,
guys that you can rotate into a season, it helps.
Yeah,
Father time is undefeated.
Father time is definitely undefeated. So the Rangers have Kansas City, like Tyler said.
I did real quick update on our boy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So Cole Reagans 2-2, 3.44 ERA. He has thrown a complete game, which he did the other night, and in 36 2/3 innings. 46 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's decent. That's decent.
It'd be nice having him back right now, wouldn't it, guys? Especially with the injury to Eovaldi.
Well, and we talked about this before, and it's funny that we bring this up because I think me and Ben had Cole on before we had him on with you, Tyler, for your cherry popper. And we asked him what pitchers he looked up to, or I think maybe it was you, Tyler. I don't know. These all run together. And Cole Hamels was one of the pitchers that he looked up to. And now on Twitter, everybody's now, posting videos of him and like, who does this Cole look like?
Yeah.
Cole Hamels. Same shit. He's got the same stuff, same electric stuff that a young Cole Hamels had. So
correct.
I think that's a pretty damn good comparison. And we're going to have.
Well, it is. And I'll tell you one thing. If he can turn out to be a Cole Hamels, he's had a pretty damn good career.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. And he's, I don't want to spoil anything, Tyler. But
anyway, we look ahead. Tomorrow, the Rangers have Lorenzen, who's 2-1 with a 4.24 ERA. And it's not like because they're not facing Reagans in this series that they're getting it easy. Singer is 2-1 with a 2.62 ERA. And that's who the Rangers face tomorrow.
I'm excited to watch Lorenzen again.
Yeah.
His stuff looks awesome.
Saturday, we have Dunning, who is, like we said, was great in his last start, against Wacha, who is 1-3 with a 4.24 ERA. Waka.
Yeah, go Waka.
Like what's his name? And then Sunday we got John Gray, who is 1-1 with a 2.48 ERA against. They haven't named a pitcher yet, so we don't know.
And that's after his bad first start.
Yeah, he's got a 2.48.
He had a
after
real
his
bad first start. But then after that.
So speaking of John Gray, real quick, you know where I think it turned around for him? That one little move that Bochy did that one day.
Bullpen appearance.
The bullpen.
Yeah.
Throwing him in the bullpen and getting his mindset back. You look what they did with Leclerc. Whenever he was struggling, they said, hey, your ass is out of that closer role. We're going to get you back into a comfortable situation where it's not a lot of stress. And that's kind of what they did with John Gray, in my opinion. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, I think that bullpen move was brilliant because it reminded John Gray. You remember how good he was in the postseason coming out of the bullpen? And I think it got him back in that. I think it got him back in that mindset of, oh yeah, this is how I'm supposed to pitch. And then he's come out and just dominated his last few starts.
Yeah.
The poor dude has lost 1-0 so often.
Yeah, I was about to say. Go ahead, Macker.
Well, I was going to say I've got a question for you guys. So on just a A, B, C, D, or a grading deal, where do you think the pitching staff for the Rangers is at this point in the season? What grade would y'all give them as far as starting and relieving?
Right now, the bullpens. I wouldn't trade our bullpen for anybody right now.
I'll take it first. I'll give it a B minus. B minus right now.
Yeah, B minus is where I'd go.
Yeah. The bullpen. Let me just throw this out there.
Did you see the stats? Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I'm about to throw out there. Over the last 10 days, this bullpen has an ERA of 0.57. Teams are hitting .143 against them, and they have 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings over the last 10 games. So over the last 10 games, I would take them over any bullpen in baseball. But overall, I agree with you, CJ, about a B plus, B plus, somewhere in the
B minus.
I'd go B plus because honestly. Well, no, hell, I'm going to agree with Tyler. This is kind of what we expected, or what we hoped to expect.
They were decent, but they'd have some bad games, and that's what they've done.
But
I can see Ben giving them a B plus. I mean, you look at all the injuries. I mean, from what they've had to battle and the way they're performing. I mean, I didn't even know those stats that Ben just threw out. That's incredible. Yeah. And kind of the complete opposite. Well, no, our bullpen actually started, or it's complete opposite of last year. Our bullpen started off so bad.
At this point,
and then they finally started finding their groove, as the season went on. And this year they're just starting off good. So hopefully it doesn't turn to shit.
Well, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because at the beginning, before the season started, we kind of all gave our predictions and stuff, and that was all y'all's biggest fear is about the pitching. Yep. And it almost seems like the pitching is outperforming the offense at this point.
It is.
Which is kind of funny how one season to the next, things can totally just change.
Well, unlike Mac
gets hot.
Yeah, going back to what Mac said too, baseball has ebbs and flows, ups and downs. You remember, I can't remember how many years ago it was. It was in that run when they made the playoffs all those years between 2012 and 2016 that they had a season where they won like 30-something one-run games.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next season,
record.
And then the next season, they couldn't win a one-run game to save their life. So you look at how bad how good the offense was last year. You just knew that wasn't going to happen 2 years in a row at that rate. I'm not saying this offense isn't good, but they're not going to have 20-something 10-run games like they had last year. But if they can keep throwing up 2 or 3 from the pitching side, they can win a game 4-3, 5-2. They can do that. It's just that ebb and flow is hilarious because, again, people that don't watch baseball all the time don't realize. I mean, you look at the history of baseball, and if a team goes through a stretch like they did last year, there's no way you can't do that for 5 straight years. You can't do that for 2 straight years. It's gonna drop at some point, and the beginning of the season it has.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the year last year. They were in the division lead, and then they went on that slump, and then they ended up going in as a wild card, and then they get hot again, and at the right time, And so it's kind of weird. It's just it's sports, and I mean that's just sports in general, man. You just it does. It's a roller coaster.
You look at last year's Super Bowl champions, the Chiefs were not that great during the regular season.
Oh no,
they got hot at the right time and won another Super Bowl. So it just depends on.
And the rich just got richer. They got the fastest dude in the freaking. I was just like, oh, this is not fair. And
they got Xavier Worthy. I was like, golly.
Yeah.
I hate the NFL.
Yeah. So sports in general ebbs and flows, and momentum is a fickle whore.
Yep.
Because just one little tiny thing can either do this to you or that to you. And that's what the Rangers were here, got their asses whipped in Seattle, go across the country to play in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And it went, something happened on that plane where it was just like, boop.
Yep.
And then there you go. So, especially in baseball, the momentum just sways back and forth so hard. So,
all right. You were talking about that momentum in Tampa Bay. To me, that's a stat that I'll never get through my head. The Rangers winning all 11 games to the day I die on the road. That's incredible if you really think about it.
All right, let's take a short break. And when we come back, we will continue on the Ranger Report podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ranger Report podcast on the Comfort Air Online studio. We are here to talk a little bit more. The Rangers, after the Royals, which will be a tough series, have a 4-gamer against the A's, including CJ, a doubleheader. And I know you said this earlier, and I agree with you. I kind of wish there were still more doubleheaders in Major League Baseball like there used to be.
Yeah, I tweeted that yesterday. I miss those days.
Yeah,
not a whole shitload of them, but
like 3 or 4,
like a handful of double header games. Because I actually went to one, and they were actually playing the A's in old Arlington Stadium. Dave Henderson, I'll never forget this. Dave Henderson was playing left field for not Ricky, Dave. Dave Henderson was playing left field for the A's, and there was a whole bunch of kids right on the front row in left field that were just giving him shit because. I mean, we spent how many hours at the ballpark? At that time, 7, 8 hours at the ballpark. Yep. And so, but I loved it. But of course, games won't go that long anymore, especially with the pitch clock, which again, I think it's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. But yeah, man, double headers, man, 2 for the price of 1. You go in there and hopefully for one of the games they drop the price. You get dollar dogs, whatever. Just make it a fun fan fest. You know what I mean? Here we got 2 games of baseball.
Beach Boys, man.
Yeah, there you go. The Beach Boys. Tyler and Mack playing the Beach Boys.
Yep.
Well, I say we all get together and do a petition and try to get this thing going. Maybe submit it to the MLB office and see if we can get some more double headers going. And
I like double headers.
Just a handful. I mean,
you should do it. You should do it just against division opponents.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Those mean more.
Yeah,
I think you'll get a better fan base out of that.
Correct. All right, so 4 games. You guys be happy with a split, or do you want them to take 3 or 4?
Well, I want them to take 3 out of 4 against Oakland because it's a division series. But I would be happy if we went into do you want to go to the Royals right now or no?
Oh, we did the Royals. We didn't say
the Royals. The Royals. The Royals, I'd be happy
2 or 3.
I think 3 out of 4. What do you think, CJ?
The Royals 2 or 3. A's 3 or 4.
Or 2 or 3, yes. And then 3 out of 4.
Yeah. A's 3 or 4. Of course, we got to go to that literal sewer.
But this is the last year.
In Oakland, the Oakland Call. I don't even.
Your cousin's there because they have those possums in the press box. So.
Fuck you too. But
he's right up there.
Yeah, no, but that place is a dumpster fire. Yeah, going in there and taking 3 out of 4, it's attainable.
Yeah, it's attainable.
I think it's attainable, and obviously we have no idea who's pitching for who.
Not
that
yet.
Series for this. No. That's later on.
Well, we assume Leiter is going to pitch one of the games.
Jack Leiter is going to pitch one of the doubleheader.
Yep.
One of the doubleheader games for sure, especially with Eovaldi going down. But now that's something we got to address too. Is I think Eovaldi was scheduled to pitch Tuesday, and so somebody else is going to have to come in there.
Yep.
Who? I'm gonna kind of flip this back on its head and turn it back to y'all. Who do y'all think is going to be Leiter? I think is, and I said this to y'all in a text message earlier.
Well, Leiter pitched today.
Right. But what I'm saying is Leiter being up until Eovaldi gets back to healthy, it is temporarily a permanent spot start.
Yes,
because he's going to be in there till Eovaldi gets done. But I mean, y'all tell me, Owen White.
I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be an actual starting pitcher. I think they're going to play it by committee. I think they're going to do I think they're going to kind of do a bullpen thing. With that, you could have Urania coming in, and then you could also have. I mean, you could go with Leclerc now that since he's not pitching the ninth, he could probably give you 2 innings.
And Cole Winn was the starter at Triple.
Yeah, Cole Winn. You could bring in Cole Winn. I think it's going to be more of a committee thing. What do you think?
I think that's a good point.
I think Tuesday is going to be Leiter because that would be his next start day.
Right.
I think Tuesday will be later than the doubleheader. I think it'll be
because he was initially scheduled. He was going to be one of the Wednesday starters, but
yes,
right. Yeah, now with Eovaldi down and
he's going to be the Tuesday starter. Yep, he's going to be the Tuesday starter because they pitched on the same day at the same time. Because Runruck had a 1:00 game today as well, so I think you're going to see Leiter on too. But yeah, I also think pitch by committee. But I think again, I don't know how stretched out Cole Winn still is the only thing because he's been coming out of the bullpen since he got called up. But I think
and he's only thrown 9 innings or 9 or 10.
I think he can still do
9 or 10 filthy ass innings though.
Yeah, but I think he can do 2 innings.
I think that's a great point by Tyler, and I think what makes that decision easier, Tyler, and I'll jump this back to you, is the job that starting pitching has done over the past few days, and save that bullpen.
Yep.
So you just know that's exactly what I was going to say. They're fresh, so you might as well throw them out there and get 1 day out of them. I mean, I can't say it any better. That's perfectly said.
It has been good. All right, let's move on. That'll be good. We'll have our minor league one coming up on Monday. Just to remind you to listen to that as well.
Y'all shit for one thing y'all missed. Y'all did a great job.
I think I know what I missed too.
I was still.
I know one thing I missed anyway.
Hey, I made enrolled a client and got a nice little bonus for that. So I'm not going to complain. But yeah, I listened to the podcast. Y'all did a fantastic job. Tyler, Ben, y'all did great. Yep. I know I'm kind of the minor league dude here. I don't know, whatever. But y'all did a great job. I mean, y'all mentioned everything except one thing. And we're going to make people wait until Monday.
Well, I'll let everyone out there know if you don't have it, that MILB TV this year is $29.99.
Get it?
It usually $59, but for some reason it's $29.99 right now. So I would get it if I were you.
You can watch all the Round Rock and all the Frisco.
And a lot of today Hickory was on. I saw them. I watched
away games for the lower level.
Part of Jack Leiter's start afterward because you can also archive watch them. So I was watching Jack Leiter earlier today while I was at school. Like, when I was supposed to be teaching, I was watching Jack Leiter pitch. So, that's what you do. So anyway, all right, let's get to our lists of best players that go along with our first name. And
not best players. I got to correct you there.
Or I'm sorry, not best players.
Not just best players. Just players.
What players can you think of?
Fill the lineup best based.
Yeah.
Off of who clicks.
We'll go in order. Ben, you go, and then CJ, and then I'll finish it off.
All right.
Well, I had trouble because there's not a lot of good B players that I could think of. So I had to look stuff up, but I couldn't do it off the top of my head. And then Tyler reminded me of one that I've added in. So,
all right. Say Barry Bonds has to be one, right?
Actually, no, I don't have Barry.
What? I told him Bo Jackson. He said I don't have Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. What
makes it tricky is just who pops into your head.
Actually, that was good though because I'm going to cheat a little bit because I was unhappy with one of mine, so I'm going to change one. All right, here we go. My list that I didn't change at all just now.
That's like me trying to make 2 calls in one game. That ain't allowed.
I can tell you what's going to happen right now is the part where you guys told me to do. It's going to be edited out, and I'm going to go straight through to this is totally my idea from the beginning.
Yeah, there you go.
All this will be gone, and I'll look brilliant. All right, you guys ready?
Thank you, CJ and Tyler, for the advice.
Exactly. That's not going to make it on the show. Good job. All right. So for catcher,
what do you got?
I have Buster Posey.
A good one.
Good pick.
First base, Buck Leonard. Dude, I could not find a first baseman that started with the letter B.
Bucky Dent.
Bucky Dent.
Ben Broussard, but I didn't really think he could go up there.
If that's the first that comes to your mind, I mean, Ben Broussard was here for what?
He was here for 1 year.
Half a year.
He was with Seattle forever, yeah.
But yeah, he was here for, was that 2007, that disaster season that
Correct,
actually turned into a great season because we traded Marcus. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Second base, Brandon Phillips.
Okay.
He was the first one that popped in my head. Third base, I went with Brooks Robinson because,
there you go.
Classic third baseman. That popped in my head real quick. And also shortstop classic from my childhood, Barry Larkin.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Left field, totally my idea. No one helped me. Bo Jackson.
Yep.
Totally my idea. Center field, I had Bernie Williams.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And I put Babe Ruth in right field.
There you go.
Hey, that counts, man.
That counts. He played right field. And then for my DH, completely my idea was Barry Bonds.
Great DH, Ben. Great pick right there.
The first one that came to my head, though, was Billy Butler, just to let y'all know.
That's also a good one.
Yeah. So, but
Barry Bonds wasn't DH. He was a left fielder.
I know, but I wanted to put him somewhere. So I'll stick with my original. Billy Butler was my DH because that's what actually came to my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. What about starting pitcher?
Immediately pitching, I went with Bob. So I thought Bob Gibson first thing right off the top of my head was Bob. So I had to look up Buck Leonard. And, I think that's the only one I had to actually look up was Buck Leonard. And then left field, I didn't
think of bees on first baseman.
I'm trying to think of that.
Bagwell. Oh,
no, it's got to start with your first name.
No, because I had plenty of other ones. Biggio would have been in there. I had plenty with B's on last names, but that's why I texted you and asked if it was first name.
Brandon Bell
was a good one, yeah. But anyway, other than Buck Leonard, I did pretty good.
That's going to bother me all night long. I'm going to have nightmares trying to figure out a B on him. No, just kidding. My turn?
Yep.
All right. Obviously, my name is CJ Berryman. So started out with C's. Catcher, Carlton Fisk.
Good.
There you go.
First base, Carlos Delgado. Second base, Chase Utley.
Great.
Third base, Chipper Jones.
See, yours are all easy. This sucks. Go ahead.
Shortstop, Cal Ripken Jr.
Oh, that's just cheating now.
Left field, Carl Yastrzemski. Center field, Carlos Beltran.
Mm-hmm.
Right field, and this is where I had trouble. But the first one that popped in my head, Carlos Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. And he had some good years.
DH, Chili Davis.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Your team would smash my team, man.
And pitcher, especially after this one, Cy Young.
Yeah, that sucks.
Very nice. Very nice. That's a damn good team. Now see if you can beat my team. You tell Ben, you're going to be the judge on this. So my catcher, my name is Tyler. I'm going to do what CJ did. My name is Tyler. Starts with the T.
It's Matt's brother tonight.
It's Mac brother tonight.
Now you got to change it all back to an M.
Yeah, no.
Now you got to redo your fucking list, bro.
I know. I got to change it all up now. All right, catcher, we got Thurman Munson.
Yeah.
First base, Todd Helton.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Second base, y'all maybe know this name, maybe not. Tony Phillips. Second base one was the toughest one for me.
Reds,
A's.
Yep.
Kind of back in the 80s and 90s. Now it gets good for me. Third base, I'm the only one on here that has a Ranger. Toby Harrah.
I love it. I love it.
Toby Harrah. I had to throw a Ranger in there.
Great choice.
Atta boy.
All right. Shortstop, I have Troy Tulowitzki.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Left field, Ted Williams.
Uh-huh.
Center fielder, Torrey Hunter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right fielder, Tony Gwynn.
Oh, that's one of my favorite ball players ever.
DH, you might have him as a pitcher, CJ, but I've got him as a DH, Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
Pitcher, Tom Seaver.
Outfield, Tom Seaver.
The outfield blew you away, brother.
Ty Cobb, Ty Cobb was no DH.
Yeah, he was. He played the outfield, but I mean, you could put a DH for anything. My freaking outfield was filled, so I just threw him in there.
You have to get a DH.
Okay, then I'll go with Travis Hafner back in his prime.
But he was a first baseman.
He was a DH too.
DH at the
later on his career.
Yeah,
later on his career, he's a DH.
All right. Tony Gwynn got me, man. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, but I think your catcher. You've got a better second baseman by far. You've got me over the shortstop.
Yeah, Cal Ripken, best ever.
I've got you over left field. I think I've got you over center. I think Torrey Hunter is better than Carlos Beltran.
Yes.
I'm going to change.
Go ahead.
I'm going to change my name from Ben to Neb. My pitcher's Nolan Ryan.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, I don't know if you heard this. I don't know if this quote was 100% accurate or not, but it cracked me up. Someone asked this. Us just bringing up all these classic players made me think of it. Someone asked Michael Jordan if he thinks his Bulls team could beat the current Lakers team.
I saw this.
And Michael Jordan said, "Yeah." And they said, "By how much?" And he said, "I don't know, 5-6 points." He said, "Only 5-6 points."
A few points.
He said, "Only 5 or 6 points." And Michael Jordan said, "Well, yeah, we're all in our 60s now."
Yeah.
We're all in our.
He meant they could beat them right now.
LeBron James almost is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's still playing.
Yeah.
I don't know between Tyler and
I can't
CJ's
stand
team.
that, dude.
I think that'd be a good game, though. Your team and Tyler's team. My guys can all be the bench players.
We could get and now
I'll give you my one player that I'll go. I'm not going to go
King
around.
Griffey Jr.
Mark McGuire for my name.
Yeah, that would be good.
And you could have Mac. You could also have Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle.
Second base, Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle. Let's try to do Max real quick. Let's see how quick we can do it.
Hey, I don't know what positions they played.
Michael Young.
Michael Young.
Shortstop or third. You get to choose.
Mike Schmidt, third base.
Yeah, Mike Schmidt at third. So Michael Young is shortstop. Mike Schmidt at third.
So we got those covered. Let's do think about first base or outfield. Y'all think some of the outfield?
Okay.
Well, I got Mark McGuire. He was an outfield.
Mark McGuire's outfield.
Mickey Mantle probably was an outfield.
Yeah, Mickey Mantle.
He was. So we got Mickey Mantle, Mark McGuire, Mookie Betts.
That's a good one.
That's just off the top of our heads. This is
Mookie Betts. Now we got to think of first baseman and the catcher.
What did Miguel Tejada play?
Oh, first baseman Miguel Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera
Uh,
on first base. Yeah,
there's lots of Miguels in the MLB, man.
Yeah. What about for catcher?
That one's going to be tough.
Mike Napoli.
There you go, Mike Napoli.
Did we get a second base?
Mike. Oh wait. I gotta correct that. Mike Piazza.
Okay, yeah.
Mike Piazza. There you go. What about second base? Did we get that one?
Mark McLemore.
Yeah, Mark. Oh, that'd be good too. Look at all the Rangers on Mac's team.
You got the best team, Mac.
I got a lot of dudes that are on juice too.
Yeah, well, that's why they can hit the ball so far.
Man, they're all juiced up.
I got a lot of dudes that are juiced too.
All right,
my catcher is.
We haven't done pitcher.
My catcher is Budge Rodriguez.
There you go.
Budge
and not
Budge.
Finn.
Budge. All right.
Hey, we got to think of a. We got to think of a pitcher.
Pitcher. I've already got one in mind, but
yeah,
I've got one.
Go ahead, Ben. I'm going to let you guess an M pitcher for. I
don't have one, so go ahead, Tyler.
I've got Mike Mussina.
That's exactly who I.
That's what you were thinking of, yeah.
Exactly.
What about Mike Mussina, or you would think there would be a bunch of Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer.
I've even got a reliever too, Mariano Rivera.
Oh
yeah,
that's the greatest one of all time.
I would take him as my starter.
No kidding, man. That cutter. Whew.
So I actually did a little bit of bonus work, and I actually went with a manager for my team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. You ready for it?
Okay, now you got me. Okay, so me and Tyler, this goes.
Oh, never mind. If we're adding managers, I'm going to win the World Series.
I've got Tony La Russa.
That's a legend.
If we're adding managers, I've got Bruce Bochy.
Oh shit, legend.
I'll take Mike Scioscia.
That also
that's
fantastic manager.
That's a good one.
But
yeah. CJ, who you got?
I'm gonna cheat.
Don't cheat, dude. You're better at that. You'll think of somebody.
It's gonna have to be like real old school.
There's not an old manager like Miles Two Shoes O'Brien or something.
I'm trying to think too, Ben. Do you know any managers that start with the letter C?
Let's see.
Like old school, maybe, or
Connie Mack.
There you go. That's an old school manager.
That's the only one I can come up with.
Hey, that's good.
Chris Woodward.
We'll all think of one as soon as we get off the air. But
yeah,
did you really just say Chris Woodward? Shame on you, bud. Shame on you.
I'm going with Connie Mack.
All right, I like that one.
So yeah, if y'all haven't noticed, this or yet they don't know. Me and Tyler have spent countless hours. We stayed up till like 3:00 in the morning doing nothing but challenging each other with sports trivia.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
It was
All right.
a hell of a time.
Speaking of that, before we get off the air, didn't you have something for us tonight to end with?
Me?
I thought you said you had either trivia or something you had.
Oh yeah, you had a stat, some kind of stat
yeah.
thing.
Oh, that was me going to talk shit on Stephen A. No. I'm just,
Oh, that's right. We're not going to do that. Okay, cool. All right.
yeah, we're not doing that. But here it is. What if I told you that the MLB records for strikeouts in a season, strikeouts in a career, seasons with 200 plus strikeouts, seasons with 300 plus strikeouts, no hitters, one hitters, two hitters, three hitters, we're all by the same player.
Yeah, I can tell you that's true.
Nolan Ryan.
I have.
Guess what? That player that holds all those records. Here's the stat that blows my fucking mind. And I totally forgot about this. 0 Cy Youngs.
Yep. None.
That's ridiculous.
None. It is ridiculous.
I'm going to give you all a stat that's going to blow your mind. It's not really a stat, real quick.
Do
Do what, Mac?
It was brought up on the last podcast that I was on because I said I wanted Nolan Ryan as my pitcher, and that was something that was brought up as 0 Cy Youngs for that guy. It was unbelievable.
But adding these stats and these accomplishments in all-time MLB records, which will not be broken ever, and he won 0 Cy Youngs.
Right.
Yep.
But the Rangers sucked when he pitched for them. I mean, he did.
They did.
Well, that's
so did the Astros.
His whole career, the Astros, the Angels, the Mets.
Yeah, I don't know that he played for a lot of good baseball.
He went to
and he won World Series ring. That's it. With the Mets. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to throw one stat out there, and I think this is just for the listeners because I'm sure CJ and Ben, y'all heard it yesterday. But since MLB has became a league, became MLB, in the history of MLB, there's been roughly about 20,000 baseball players that have played the game of baseball. Out of those 20,000, there's only been a handful that have a tenure of over 10 years. How many people do you think out of that 20,000 have played over 10 years in MLB? Out of 20,000.
I'm going to guess less than 10%.
How many? You want names or percentage?
No, I want a number. Out of 20,000, how many of those 20,000 do you think have played over 10 years?
Well, I can think of like 8 or 9 off my head. So
I'm thinking.
I'm going to say approximately about 2,300.
2,300. Okay.
I'm going to say about 1,600.
1,600. What do you got, CJ?
10 plus years. I'm gonna go with 1,700.
1,200 people.
That's it.
That's it. 1,200 people out of 20,000 that have played the game. That just shows you. You think like we watch these guys and like, oh, he'll easily play 10 years. There's only been 1,200 in the league to ever do it.
That's 6%.
Because there was a guy for the Rangers yesterday, and I want to say it was he had just reached his 10th
Jacob
career.
DeGrom, 10th year.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Jacob DeGrom.
Yeah, and they were talking about that. They threw it out there, and they're like, "How amazing is that?" We talk about like 10 years it's here and gone, but there's only been 1,200 players that have ever done it.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Well, that just shows you how much stardom does. Because if you're a badass star, dude, that's all people remember is you're good. And so everybody that we remember had long careers because they were so good. Yeah. And you don't know all the other guys. It's just, that's crazy. That's mind blowing, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
Hey,
all right. Well,
I think we've covered just about everything from stats to just all the trivia, and we'll have more.
Oh yeah, always. And don't forget Monday, minor league edition. Next Thursday, we'll have another major league edition. So y'all stay tuned for that. These are slowly going up on YouTube. I am the editor, so it takes a minute. So it takes me a minute to get them up there, but I'll put this one up right away and then backtrack on the 2 that I don't have up yet. So, but I want to get this one up right away because this was a good show. So anyway, cool. I think that's it.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mac. And get ready for on Monday, because I'm going to talk some shit on the other 2 hosts here.
Tyler,
do it.
Drop the deuces.
3.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.